Hi, I'm Quinn and I'm autistic. Welcome to Autistic.
Dear Autistic, I didn't know Jeff was autistic when I hired him to work in Festra's Fine Fashions, and I'm beginning to regret it. He has no idea of sales technique, and he constantly embarrasses me. Take last week. I'd nearly convinced a customer to buy a £200 outfit when Jeff came and told him it didn't fit and the colour looked awful on him. To cap it all, the customer listened to Jeff instead of me, and ended up buying 2 different outfits for £500. This keeps happening. I'm clinching the sale, then Jeff comes in, contradicts me and ends up making a much bigger sale. Makes me look foolish, and it's a completely idiotic sales technique. There is no skill or finesse in just blurting out the truth. Where's the creativity? We're supposed to make our customers feel great no matter what they're thinking of buying, so we can get them out of the shop quickly to make room for more customers. I can't fire him over his sales figures because they're the best in the shop, and firing an autistic will look bad to head office. So how do I get rid of him? Chris, cream cheese.
Well, Chris, that's quite a dilemma. It's not easy to maintain your air of authority and trust when you look dishonest. It doesn't look good for you or for your company when you get exposed like that. Since Jeff is autistic, it's very likely that he isn't comfortable with lying to customers. You see, many autistic people don't function very well with deception. It's just not in our natures. If we do try to tell porkies, it's usually only for self-preservation. Of course, we know that other people lie all the time because we spend so much of our own mental energy extracting the truth from what everybody else says to us. But it rarely occurs to us to hide or distort the truth in something like a sales pitch. It's just easier and more practical to be honest. I realise that being completely candid with customers may go against everything you've learned about sales and marketing. But it seems to be working for Jeff. If his sales figures are so high, perhaps his straightforward honesty is a better technique than the flim-flam you've been taught. I know you find it embarrassing when Jeff contradicts you, but I think I have an easy solution for you. How about you start telling your customers the truth as well? Not only will it prevent Jeff from contradicting you, but it might improve your sales figures too.
Dear Autistic, what should I do about my employee, Jenny? She's autistic and has never been a team player, which has stopped me from promoting her. But she's always outperformed her colleagues and I can't afford to lose her. I had to let her work from home as part of recent measures, but now they no longer apply. She's threatening to quit if I don't allow her to continue to work from home. Her productivity is twice what it was before, which she says is because she's working from home, but I don't believe her. If she can do that amount of work at home, just imagine how much more she could do back on site. I've already told her she's lucky I don't discipline her for being lazy before I was forced to start this remote working nonsense. I need her back here so I can use her productivity as an example to all the other work-shy slackers. How do I make her change her mind? Clive drive time.
Wow, that's a pretty difficult situation you've found yourself in there, Clive. But worry ye not. We can solve it for you. It sounds like Jenny is a valuable employee, and if she's outperforming her colleagues so much, she must be a key part of your business. Is it fair for you to be putting so much responsibility on her shoulders, though? You say you need her as an example to motivate your other staff to work harder, but why are you making her responsible for other people's standards of work? Isn't that your job as her boss? If there are genuine reasons why her work would be more valuable on site instead of remotely, then maybe it's worth getting her back in. But is it really just so that you can shame the rest of the staff for not working hard enough? Maybe the others feel entitled to take it easy because Jenny's already doing some of their share of the work. Perhaps they've seen her hard work go unrewarded and think it's not worth their while to make any more effort. What do you think would happen if you gave Jenny a pay rise in recognition of her contribution? It would serve to show the work-shy slackers, as you call them, that putting the work in pays off. I know you say she's not a team player, but that doesn't mean promotion is out of the question either. Seniority in the workplace doesn't have to involve managing staff. Perhaps she could be recognised for her expert knowledge, or maybe help to create training for the staff that are underperforming. Have you asked Jenny why it's so much easier for her outside of the workplace? Does she find it harder to concentrate around other people? Is the environment too noisy, too bright, or just too distracting? Do you and her colleagues treat her with the respect she clearly deserves? How could you make her experience at work more like it's been for her working from home? Maybe you can make enough changes to bring her back. At the end of it all, though, is it really that important that Jenny comes back into work? If she's happier this way and she's producing more, do you really want to risk that by forcing her back on site? She's clearly happier, and your figures must be benefiting from her output. There's all sorts of reasons why working from home might suit an autistic person better. There's less distractions from other people, less social games to play, and no stress from commuting every day. She might be gaining in ways you haven't even thought of. Instead of dragging her back as an example to others, why not give her what she wants and reward her for her hard work as well, to prove to those slackers that putting in the effort is worth it?
Hi, Autistic. I'm at my wit's end with Wanda. She's worked for me for 3 years and I've had to warn her about her time off for migraines and stress before. But now she's told me she's autistic and is demanding reasonable accommodations at work. I don't know what she expects. I've already done my duty and told everyone to stop calling her Weird Wanda. Now I know she can't help being strange, but that's not enough for her. She says she wants a desk of her own instead of hot desking. Asked for different lighting, and now she's even said she wants to wear headphones at her desk. Why? Not only is it cheeky, she'll miss out on all the office gossip, which will make her look even weirder. There's laws that say I have to treat everyone equally, so if I do something for her, I have to do it for everyone. How do I tell her I can't give her special treatment? Brenda Fenderbender.
Hey Brenda. You've actually asked 2 questions here. What is a reasonable accommodation? And how do you make sure everyone is treated equally? I see you're in the UK like me, so the laws you're talking about are the Equality Act of 2010. There's similar legislation for disabled people in other countries, like the Americans with Disabilities Act in the US. The question of what's reasonable doesn't really get asked until a boss declines a request. The only time you get a definitive answer is when an employer is taken to court or a tribunal where they may be judged as unreasonable for denying one. You don't want to have a black mark against your company for mistreating disabled employees, so you may think you have to do everything you're asked, but that's not the case. People do sometimes ask for unreasonable things, and you have every right to turn them down if they're asked for something silly or impractical. For a request to be considered reasonable, it needs to fit 3 broad criteria. It needs to be effective, it shouldn't make life unduly difficult for other employees, and it must be affordable. If you're asked for anything outside of those guidelines, it might be considered unreasonable, but that's not guaranteed. So, she wants to have a desk of her own so she can stop hot desking. Tell me, Brenda, do you have a desk or an office of your own? Would you willingly give it up if you were asked? For many autistic people, a sense of continuity and consistency is really important, so having a permanent desk will make life easier for her and it won't cost you a penny. Changing the lighting should be relatively easy too. In most places you could just change the bulbs or, if necessary, the light fittings near her new permanent desk, or put her desk next to a window, or get some dimmable lamps for her work area. I don't know if any tribunal would consider any of those unreasonable. Now, you seem quite stressed yourself about the headphones she's asked for. Is it because you're afraid she'll be distracted from her work? Maybe she finds it harder to work with people chattering around her. Lots of autistic people find it hard to concentrate when it's noisy or there's other people talking all around us. It's the office gossip itself which distracts us from our work. If you don't want her listening to music while she's working, how about noise-cancelling headphones instead? They're a little more expensive, But if it helps her to be more comfortable and improve her work, it's a good investment, isn't it? If there's a particular reason why a specific request wouldn't work in your workplace and you're confident a court would agree with you, then you've every right to turn it down. But if not, you'd not only be taking a legal risk, but make yourself look quite narrow-minded and ableist. So, how about your obligations over equality? Do you have to allow everyone else to do the same if you make accommodations for someone? I mean, how can you be treating people equally if you're giving someone special treatment? I think you might be misunderstanding what equality means in an employment context. It's not about everyone working with the same facilities under the same rules. It's about making sure that that environment and those rules don't discriminate against people who can't work with them and don't have a choice in the matter. Equality is achieved either by making adjustments to suit everyone or by making individual exceptions that level the playing field. If Wanda says her work is suffering in the current working environment but the others are okay, then doing nothing is treating her needs as less important than theirs. To make her as comfortable as everyone else, you might have to make some changes to help her work as efficiently as she can. If nobody else is bothered by the noisy office, then they don't need headphones. But Wanda says they'll help her be both happier at work and more efficient. Supplying some for her is not special treatment. It's just a minor adjustment for you that'll pay huge dividends for her, and will mean she's not being held back by things that don't bother other people. Along with her other requests, it's quite likely that they'll hugely reduce her stress and cause less migraines too. Is it fair to give someone special treatment that gives them advantages over other staff? No, it's not. But it's even less fair to deny someone basic accommodations that reduce or even neutralise their disadvantage. We all need to be able to work comfortably and have the same opportunities for growth and career development as everyone else. Okay, so that's 3 awful autism questions from bosses answered. There's no end of bizarre questions about autistic life we get asked, and I want to hear the ones that you've been asked. Tell me about them in the comments, or contact me by email or on social media, and I'll answer some of the oddest, most entertaining or most interesting in another video. If there's enough, then maybe I'll do another theme selection like this one on employment. For now though, thank you for watching. Never underestimate how important likes and subscriptions are to YouTube creators. They make a huge difference to how often the YouTube algorithm shows our work to potential viewers, and comments even more so. If you want to support me to continue making videos on autistic life, then please pop over to Patreon or treat yourself to some exclusive Autistic merch.